Hey there, brother. This is Steve Horseman with Good Guys to Great Men and Friends today. We're going to do another video like we've done before to help you with a certain type of woman. I've got Coach Garrett, Coach Mark, Coach Jeff, and Coach Dan here with me. We're going to help you decipher what do you do with the busy bee wife? And let me explain what the busy bee wife is. She's the one whose calendar is full of everything to do and places to be, and you're not on any of them. She has a list a mile long, and by the time she gets to the end of it, she's added 10 more things, but none of them are you. She laughs and has fun with all her friends. She's very social, very happy, even with the dog, but not so much with you. Her parents are a high priority. Her friends are a high priority. Her kitchen being clean all the time is a high priority. There are many different facets of the busy bee wife, but the one thing, she has an anxious, fluttery kind of energy about her where she is more worried about getting stuff done and doing things that need to be done than she is worried about connecting with you. And this is a real problem because if you're watching this video, you're a guy who's read enough of our stuff that we know you're the kind of guy who's an old romantic. You want her to slow down. You want to hold her hand. You want to rub her feet. You want to look her in the eye and talk about something besides cleaning the kitchen again. And so we're going to break it down here with you today and talk about how do you think about this? How do you respond to it? And how do you course correct her without making her crazy? Because you can't just stop her in mid stride. You have to be gentle with the busy bee wife. So let's talk about what that means. I want to first go to Coach Garrett and give us whatever you got, brother, and then we're going to go around the horn.
All right, thanks, Steve. So, brothers, I want to just from my own experience share some points that I've found to be effective in 3 points specifically to really help you think differently about this when your wife is that busy one. Maybe the one side of it is that it bothers you that she's filling the calendar up without you, and you're kind of secretly hoping that maybe this will be the weekend that she keeps clear for us, and we'll get to spend the day together, or something will work out. I can assure you that it will not just happen. So you are actually experiencing what it's like to be a man who doesn't have a lot of boundaries or perhaps a schedule about what you want to bring to the table or what you're willing to commit to or schedule or stand up for yourself. I tell guys all the time from my own experience, like even if you feel like your wife is too bossy or too busy and it's really grating your nerves, it's not that she's being something that's wrong. It's more that we're experiencing what it's like to not know where the boundary is of what we're going to be around, how we're going to think about it, how we're going to respond to it. So let's start there. That second thing that is big for me, at least, is when I started to become a man with a plan, there was actually something that I was going to put on the calendar, something I wanted to experience, something I wanted to have with her that was important, to actually be the initiator of it, to actually book the call, block out the time, or start talking about it to get her excited about it so that it's even on her mind. That's being very active instead of passively just hoping that someday she will. The third thing is learning to say no, because there's another side of this that maybe we haven't talked about yet. And that is we guys do not always love it when another person comes in and books our weekend, books our vacation, books our schedule. So that busyness can bleed into our calendars, and being able to say, no, baby, this weekend, I'm not available for that trip. It does sound fun. It does sound like it would be great, but not this weekend. So a man who can say no is creating space, creating availability. So those are some things that I've noticed in my own world to get stronger in when we're faced with that wife that's just really got a lot going for her. But she's exciting, right? That's why we picked her. She's fun and going places. She's not boring. There's a lot going on, but it needs to have some boundaries there.
I love it. Thanks, Garrett. Three things. That was good. Mark, Melbourne Mark.
Yes, Melbourne, Mark. Thanks, Garrett. You bring up really good points. And to build on those points, um, she is in a bit of a storm. All right. The busy bee wife is chaos personified. So you need to not get caught up in it. Don't allow her energy and her brisk nature to pick you up and carry you along for the ride. Remain grounded. Right. Watch it happen. Observe her. Don't take it personally. Just because she wants to clean the bench top instead of speaking to you, just sit there and watch her clean the bench top, right? You need to have clear values and an understanding of what you want to do versus what she does. So don't get caught up in the storm. The other thing is have things to do yourself. If you're sitting there watching her clean the bench top and getting pissed off because she's got a full schedule, that probably means that your schedule isn't very full and you haven't got much to do. You need to get crystal clear on what you want to do with your life and start doing it. Now, part of that may be that you want to spend time with her, and that's fine. But you have to know that that's what you want and then make the invitation to her. And the final part is, if you do make the invitation to her and she doesn't want to come along for the ride, well, you're going to have to accept that and then make a decision, right? If you're going to be with this woman, you know that she's the busy bee wife. This is part of her. If you can't accept it and it goes against your values, or there's a contradiction there in values, you're going to have to own it and make a decision. Either you endure it and stop complaining, or you don't and you leave. You're going to have to get crystal clear on what you want from a relationship and then start being it.
I love that, Mark. You remind me that when guys say, I just want her to spend time with me, I say, imagine if she was 180 degrees opposite from what she is now, and all she wanted to do is spend time with you all the time. And they go, oh, no, 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 that's not what I want either. So, yeah, don't stop thinking there's a perfect woman is the message. Coach Jeff, what do you got for us?
Yeah, to me, this lack of she's not giving me enough attention. She has time for everyone else. She gives the dog more belly rubs than she does me. I had a hole within myself. I had a void within myself that I had tried to fill with, let's say, food or money or acclaim in the world. And I came to a spot as a man where I began to realize I want deeper relationship. I want deeper connection and growth with my woman. But I'm afraid that I had no idea of how to do that. I had no frame of that up until this realization point. And so the fear of, well, I want something different, but I don't know how to lead that. And she's gotten so used to me being detached from this depth and this growth that she's made herself busy, getting another degree, going back to work, having another child, filling her life full with everything. But this new realization of what I'm now thinking that I want, closeness, connection. So it's often new. It's often new for you. It's often new for her and the dynamic in the relationship. So I had to grow patience for my own void and start to grow my own sense of validation and fullness. And that's what Garrett and Mark and all of us are talking about, is growing your own fullness within yourself. And how do I build a vision for what I want? How do I invite her step by step without getting angry, without getting resentful? And that's what we teach. It's how to build that vision within your own self first, and then how to invite her on that journey with you, no matter how busy she is.
The invitation. Coach Dan.
I want to, you've all mentioned what do you want? and that's where I want to sit with this, because it's so easy to go, okay, busy bee wife, and put all your focus on her and this activity and et cetera, and we're always talking about, well, you only have control over one half of the relationship, right? And that's you and how you're showing up and what it is. The parameters that you control are those parameters within you, and that really comes down to who you are and what you want, right? So we do a lot of stuff around values and who you are and what standards, what's important for you, but what you want, I think, is the key here, because if you really do want more time with your partner, with your wife, then you need to really marinate yourself in that want, right? So much, because when you're in that want, the way that you convey that across to the other person is really important. And you've got to be able to be strong in that want, but it's so easy every time you want something to get distracted, to avoid it, because it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable to be in that situation where I want something and the other person doesn't seem very interested in it. Well, they seem to want the opposite of me. But the only way you're really going to get that answer, if the other person is willing and able to be able to meet you, at least in part, in what you want, is to stand in it and be like, hey, I want this. This is really important to me. And you're either going to respond to this or you're not. But you have to do that for a period of time, and you have to also be whatever it is that you're wanting from the other person and you're wanting in the relationship. You have to model it. You have to lead by example, and you have to do that for a period of time consistently. So you can't just try it a little bit. Oh, I asked her for this one bit of time, or I asked her for that, and then I just get really depressed and sad and whatever else because I got knocked back, because I got rejected. No, you've got to be stronger than that. You've got to be stronger in your desire for what you want and where you want to take the relationship. You've got to stand up for it, and you've got to model what it looks like, even though you're in this kind of dichotomy of fighting with other stuff, other important stuff, because let's face it, all of us are doing the best that we possibly can with the understanding and the thinking and the emotional management that we have. So you have to be able to be strong enough to say, this is important for me, and challenge the other person in the relationship, but not challenge them from a place of criticism and complaining and I'm a victim of your busyness. No, challenge them from the place of, I'm having this and I hope it's with you, but if it's not, it's something that is really important for me and I want it and I'm going to have it. And so it's a strong creative energy rather than a complaining, collapsing energy.
I love it. The last thing I'll add is being aware of your audience, meaning be aware of what the busyness is about. I want to be fair in that for a lot of people, busyness and uh, franticness and panic behavior is justified. My sweetheart is currently going through caring for an aging mother who can't see and has early onset dementia, and her brother is worthless. So she's having to travel hours to take care of that. And then she has to come home, and then there's laundry, and I didn't do the laundry. So every now and then, and maybe oftentimes, a person who is really busy, distracted, unavailable emotionally, mentally, has really good reasons for it. And the more compassion and empathy you have for why they're busy, the better. Sometimes they're busy because they're trying to avoid you. Sometimes they'll clean the kitchen 3 times while you're waiting to go to bed, right? They can hear you drumming your fingers, waiting for them to come to bed, and they're cleaning the kitchen because they don't want to have sex. And that'll make you mad to think about it. Sometimes they're busy because they were raised in a household where productive people are the only people worth anything. And that if you're not moving, if you don't have plans, you're worthless. And so some busy bee wives have been programmed by their moms and dads that they have to be moving, otherwise nothing matters. In every case, you have to take a leadership, either to back off or to move in and to help them and lead them toward a connection. They wouldn't be with you if they didn't want a connection, but they want a healthy, safe connection that doesn't feel overpressuring, overbearing, and over demanding. And that's what we like to talk to you more about when we coach in the videos. So help yourself to the Good Guys to Great Men library, the podcast. And if you're interested in coaching, we're all here for you, brother. Thanks for watching.